I know it can sometimes be a problem when hot words are used on YouTube videos, but I think for this one we should be mostly okay. Over there. Okay, Yiko.
I'm here.
Start cleaning.
Okay, start cleaning.
If you have a Yiko in your home and I just triggered it, well, I just started cleaning your room, so you're welcome. But now that I actually have that going, I obviously have to do this video, so let's do this. Okay, Yiko.
I'm here.
Go back to the station. There's a lot more where that came from, via one of the most advanced and one of the most premium smart vacuum cleaners available right now. Hey, it's Joshua Vergara. What's going on, everybody? Here's a look at the ECOVACS X1 OMNI, sponsored by ECOVACS.
Start charging.
Smart vacuums are nothing new at this point, but I know a lot of people who haven't really taken the plunge into robotic cleaners. ECOVACS have been making them for quite some time now, and I've actually used one of their previous DEEBOT vacuums in the past. The X1 OMNI right over there is the top of that lineup, and it's also the biggest. The large base station is home not only to the vacuum that comes back to charge in it, but it also has clean and dirty water tanks that are automatically used to fill the robot and to clean the pads when mopping is done. And those would be these mopping pads right here, which easily slot into a couple of spots underneath the vacuum, but we're going to show this off a little bit later. There's also a dust bag that is in the lower half of the station where the vacuum is actually vacuuming itself, so you don't have to clean out the dust bin in the actual vacuum yourself every single time. It's still important to do regular maintenance on the various parts of the X1 OMNI, so it's not a completely hands-off experience all the time, but still, for the vast majority of days and cleaning sessions, this robot vacuum has been able to reliably clean up after me without me having to do a whole lot. Okay, so that's a quick overview of the ECOVACS X1 OMNI. I'll dive further into the details so you can really get a sense of what makes this one of the smartest vacuums out there. But as you can tell from just my synopsis, well, the vacuum can be pretty involved. That's why it's important for me to point out that the X1 OMNI is actually available at Best Buy now and is part of the Total Tech program. I've been aware of ECOVACS for some time now, and it's really cool to see them popping up in a big local retailer like Best Buy, where you can check out the vacuum for yourself before making your purchase. But props go out to Best Buy for adding the Total Tech treatment. Now, if you don't already know, Total Tech is a subscription service that gets you things like 24/7 technical support for any tech you might have in your home or in your life. You get an automatic 2 years warranty on most purchases made at Best Buy, including AppleCare Plus. Most importantly for the X1 OMNI, white glove service, through which installation and setup are all done by Total Tech specialists at the time of the product's delivery. That's exactly what I did with the X1 OMNI, and that means the hands-free experience actually started well before I even powered the vacuum on for the first time. So what makes this whole setup so good? As I mentioned before, the X1 OMNI is really trying to do everything all by itself. When you run a first clean after setup, it's kind of pulling double duty. Not only is it vacuuming, but it's also mapping the area. So here, why don't we go ahead and take a look at the actual vacuum itself. This laser-guided sensor up top, and then a combination of a sensor and a camera on the front, they are combined to make ECOVACS' navigating solution called True Mapping 2.0. Now, by having laser-guided assistance going on all the time in like a 360 fashion, this vacuum is really good about obstacle avoidance. That's one of the things I've appreciated the most. Most other robot vacuums I've used rely on front bumpers to literally feel out obstacles, but sometimes that means pushing objects, and in one case, it actually meant that in my office here, the light stands that I use was actually toppled over. I have noticed with the X1 OMNI that the vacuum sometimes uses its own bumper in tight spaces. I mean, this is the whole bumper right here, but for the most part, it stops itself short in every other case before actually bumping into any obvious obstacle. You're probably able to see here that obviously it has had to scrape on stuff sometimes. There are a couple of battle scars, let's say, on the front here on the bumper, but honestly, I trust this thing way more than other vacuums to not just topple things over or to push things way out of place. There is one extra feature here via the front-facing camera, home monitoring. You can actually look through the cameras of the X1 OMNI while it's cleaning, or just take control of it so that you can see everything from its perspective. It could be a handy way of checking on things while you're away. And actually through the app, you can even do a voice call of sorts if you want to use Yiko to talk to pets or anyone else in the room. It's nifty stuff. So I let the vacuum map my family home while it was vacuuming, and the result was an area map that tried to decipher what rooms were what. I wasn't expecting it to be perfect at it, as furniture can make any room feel a little bit different, but it did a pretty fair job of figuring out what areas were what, like these were the bedrooms, and of course this large area right here was the living room. You can actually go further into a 3D map that allows you to set the furniture in your place by yourself, which is pretty advanced. I mean, you can get this map here that tries to really give you a look via 3D of what your whole house looks like. You can add furniture, like indoor furniture, you have a bunch of different settings down here, and you can create those obstacles yourself. Now, while this is pretty cool, I personally stick to the 2D map for the most part, because it's intuitive enough and I'm able to create custom cleans using this map. I think one of the things the software notices is when there are carpets in places like living rooms. Those are cues for it to understand what kind of room it's in. Here's an example. In the ECOVACS app, you can actually have multiple maps set up. That was my home map that I was showing you earlier, and then we're in my office right now, so this is the map that it was able to create. My office doesn't have a second room in it, but we can say that this top portion right here, which is where I'm filming this right now, that is in a way its own office room, and then I created a living area down on the bottom half, which is right over there, and I think it was able to decipher that because I have obvious dividers like a beanbag chair and of course the carpet. Speaking of carpet, Yico can clearly figure out what it's rolling on based on the drop sensors that are on the bottom. Once it's on the carpet, the vacuum will actually increase suction power, which is smart since a fluffy carpet probably needs a little more attention than a hardwood floor. By the by, a thicker, fluffier carpet like the one I have here was no problem for the vacuum, whereas other units might get overwhelmed by it or even stuck. Of course, a video like this wouldn't be complete without a specific cleaning test. These are chia seeds. I eat them practically every day, but sometimes I have dropped some on the floor when trying to scoop some out of the bag. Let's just say, in this scenario, I was extra clumsy and a good amount of this fell on the floor. I'm just gonna drop some right underneath my desk here. The smart mapping of the X1 OMNI allows you to get into the app and select a specific area where you might need some targeted cleaning. I'm gonna go ahead and make this small square right here, which is right above what it designated as the living room area, so I should be right around here. And then I'll make finer adjustments via the different settings. We'll just keep the vacuum power to standard. We're not mopping right now. And after all of that is said and done, we just hit the play button and it will do its thing. So let's just allow Yico to scoop up those chia seeds, even though I do feel a little bit guilty wasting my superfood. So while that's going, let me give you an anecdote. With my folks gone on vacation, I've actually been basically house sitting in my family home where I set up the X1 OMNI. The areas that I've been using the most during this time are the home theater and the kitchen, which are right next to one another. I'll admit to eating dinners on the couch, and while I try my best to be careful, I don't know for sure if I dropped anything or not. So that's where the vacuum comes in. Every evening after I'm done with my meal or I'm about to go head to bed, I just go over to the X1 OMNI and hit the play button. The vacuum gets to work while I wash the dishes, and I let it do a full auto cleaning cycle for some peace of mind. Of course, I could schedule all of this to happen at a specific time every day via the app, but since I'm around, I just hit the button myself. But now we can get to the best part, at least for me. If there's one feature that I appreciate the most about the X1 OMNI, it's how it handles mopping. To enable the mopping mode, you actually just have to add the pads that magnetically slot into the two areas down here. You can actually hear it activate.
Switch to vacuum and mopping mode.
And then in the app, you can set Yico to either vacuum and mop or just mop. The charging station has water tanks that are used to filter out the vacuum's own reservoir and to clean the mopping pads via a small cleaning pool in the back of the docking area. It'll literally bring water down, run the mops for cleaning in the water, and then use suction to get all that used water into the dirty water tank. Despite the vacuum smarts, I figured I would prep the living area for a straight up mopping session. I set the water flow to the default low setting, and I used a custom area to mop only the home theater. After it was done, the vacuum returned to the station and I could hear the water recycling and the mop cleaning being done, complete with a hot air drying period for the mopping pads. And then I got the dirty water tank out. It was plenty dirty. It's not like we mop in the house too often, so having a way of doing it like this, and in a way that's so easy, is honestly a game changer. So why not put the X1 OMNI to work in a place that truly needs it? My office. As a place where shoes do stay on, I'm sure this floor needs a deep clean, so I brought the vacuum to my office so that I can put those mopping features to work. To end this video, I'm just going to go ahead and let it do its thing in the deep clean setting, and even if it isn't able to get out hard stains in my floor, I'm sure it's still going to be a massive improvement. And so there you have it, a pretty extensive look at the ECOVACS X1 OMNI, which is now available at Best Buy, and it does get the Total Tech treatment, which means that you can get it set up and ready to go without even having to lift a finger, thanks to the Total Tech specialists. You also have access to 24/7 technical support for things like the X1 OMNI if you ever do run into a problem, and of course, Total Tech provides many different perks aside from that, so you can check it out in the link that is in the description down below alongside the product itself. For more on smart robot vacuums like the ECOVACS X1 OMNI and beyond in the world of tech, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Sound off by hitting the like button and by getting into the comment sections down below. But from there, I'm going to go ahead and call it on this one. Thank you so much for watching. Please take care of yourselves and each other, and enjoy your tea, everybody.